I got to start with this Brock Lesnar stuff because I saw this happen on September 30th. I hadn't seen it prior until knowing you guys were coming on.
Right.
And I watched it, and you're used to getting thrown around.
Yeah,
That's what it
I don't
is.
mind.
But then he goes after your son,
Yeah.
Dominic, and throws him into the post and then into the ring. I mean, what emotion are you feeling as this is happening? Because it was intense, man.
I'm not gonna lie, I was tearing up, man. I was tearing up. I was bawling because I felt like it was my fault that my son was in that situation, you know. But you know, it took me a while to really understand what happened, and I think the best answer to that whole problem is Cain Velasquez.
Yeah.
That's the best answer.
Yeah. So the follow-up is Brock Lesnar wins in 10 seconds with his F5 to get the heavyweight title. And waiting in the ring is you.
Yeah.
Why'd you get involved in this?
Why'd I get involved? You know, I guess watching Brock for the past couple of years, watching him in the WWE, you know, not liking his demeanor as far as how he carries himself and what he thinks he can do to other people, and then going ahead and crossing the line with Rey and his son Dominic. Rey and I have known each other, you know, prior to that, so we already started like building a relationship, and then for him to go ahead and do that was something that for me just kind of crossed the line.
Now, you don't seem emotional. You seem, it's almost vicious, almost scary, actually. You seem unemotional. Yes. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but how do you not get steamed by this? You know what I mean? You guys are tight. You gotta, you gotta be angry as hell.
I think he hides it well.
I do.
I just think he hides it well.
I hide it very well. You know, competing my whole life, you can't let those emotions kind of overtake what the goal is. And what the goal is beating Brock Lesnar, is going in there and, you know, beating him down, smashing him, right? So I'm very methodical in like what I do and my process, but I've been taught my whole career to those emotions you don't show. You know, you keep them inside. You don't show them when you're hurt. You don't show, you know, when somebody's kind of getting at you in a different way, right? I think it's in my culture. I think it's the way I grew up. You keep all those emotions inside, and you just kind of stay strong.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's definitely hard for me to like not show emotion in this sense. But hey, man, the task at hand is to beat Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, and we'll get back to that in a second. But Ray, let me jump back to you real quick. On September 30th, when he's tossing you around, and he did it like 6 times.
Yeah.
Are you like praying that he's going to stop? Like, what's going through your mind? And why is he so, you know, angry with you or charged up about you? You know what I mean?
He was trying to prove a point. The point was to him that it didn't matter who was in front of him. He was getting ready to become a WWE champion. And that obviously happened when he faced Kofi the following week.
Yep.
But that was his message. Why he took it on me, I don't know, but he took away my opportunity to possibly win the Universal title that night against Seth Rollins. On top of that, you know, you just, I guess in every culture, family is sacred. It's important, and you don't cross that path. Hispanic heritage, the blood, it can be very deep.
Yep.
Like Italians.
Yep.
You just don't cross that path.
No, you mess with one, you mess with everybody.
Yeah. And Brock doesn't know how many, but he has one.
Yeah.
Right now. And that's his biggest problem right now.
Yeah.
You know, but he shouldn't have done what he did.
Yeah.
You know, like Cain said, we go back, and when we happen to talk, he had seen what had happened on the 30th. And without even asking, can you? He said, I'm in. Like,
let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah. How was your son, by the way? How's Dominic?
He's much better now.
He is?
Much better.
Is he going to get into the business?
He's been training for 2 years.
Yeah.
You know.
How old is he?
He's 22.
Okay. So he's he's at that age.
Yeah. Yeah. And he didn't start training till he was 19. So he's been training roughly for about 2 years. Yeah.
Joined by Rey Mysterio, Cain Velasquez in studio here on Tiki and Tierney. You know, you faced Brock not as a WWE fighter, but as an Ultimate Fighter.
Yeah.
That's a different type of animal. What'd you learn fighting him in the UFC as opposed to going in the ring?
In my career as a fighter, I've learned that it doesn't matter how big someone is. It doesn't matter how intimidating someone is. Like, that, none of that matters.
Yeah.
It matters what you want. It matters how bad you want it. That can overtake anyone. And that's what I've learned.
Yeah. What did you? So you TKO'd him, right?
Yeah.
How'd you beat him?
So I ended up finishing the fight on the ground, dropping him with some. Well, I did. He came in kind of for a shot. I threw almost like an uppercut. He kind of caught that, and he did like a little breakdance spin move, to the other side of the octagon.
Yep.
And then there, I followed up with some more punches. I threw that knee that cut up his face. And then he fell right there, and then flurry of punches on the ground. He ended up standing up again. As he stood up again, just threw another right hand, towards the ear. He ended up falling, and then just being really methodical with the punches and throwing in the elbows to go ahead and stop it.
What's the most important skill for what you do? Right, because I know you wrestled. We talked about this before. You also play football. I don't know how they let you get away from my sport, but you play football too. What's the most important skill for what you do?
As far as what skill to learn?
Yeah, what to learn and how to not get hurt, excel at it, but also have the mentality. What's the most important skill for what you do?
As far as like a physical skill, I would say going in, because I did wrestle. I'd say a lot of it is the wrestling. Being able to take the fight where you want it to, whether it be the ground or keep it standing, is always good. And then when you have somebody on the ground, then you can kind of, you can control them on the ground. And that's what collegiate style wrestling does. That's a U.S. based wrestling style. And then it's very easy to build on top of that. Then you could build the boxing and the striking on top of that, and the jiu-jitsu to kind of make it a whole thing. Yes, make it a whole,
That's interesting.
Yes.
Ray, I wonder, do you ever not wear a mask? What do you look like?
Right before I walked in here, you just missed me.
Every time I see you, got a mask on.
We were just eating sushi, and I had the mask on.
Oh, yeah? and people looking at you crazy?
Hey, what are you doing? This morning, my very first interview, jumped in the elevator, 2 girls, had a pizza, all of us, a crew, and I had something in my hand. I went, give me your pizza. And the mask on. He's like, I don't know if it was a nervous laugh or...
I'm joking. It's sunglasses. Right? I'm joking. Where do you guys see the state of the WWE right now? Because I remember when I was a kid, and it was WWF then, but it's WWE now. When I was a kid, I couldn't get over it. Every day I wanted to see wrestling. Where is it now? I mean, there's so much other, draws on kids' attention, adults' attention these days. Heck, there's even going to be the XFL, which is kind of an offshoot. Where is the WWE right now?
My personal opinion, I believe that you have the youth that watches wrestling because they love wrestling, which is organic. Then you have the other portion that is passed on by the parents or the grandfather.
That's right. Yeah.
That, I ran into so many of those that grew up watching Rey, for instance, and now they have their kids. I do an autograph signing. They introduce themselves, and they go, my kid's 6 or 7, and I told him about you, and once he saw you, man, he fell in love with wrestling. So that's where it's at. You got the hardcore, and you got the generations.
Yeah.
Then you have, kids that rather play video games or do other stuff, which is still cool. But WWE has been around for
Oh yeah,
minute.
I mean, but when I look, we've never met before, but I meet you and I'm like, man, I could wrestle, right? Like, it's most people think of you when they think of wrestling. They're like, man, I can't ever do that.
Yeah, and
but you've been doing this forever.
Yeah, and that's what's cool. The fact that I'm honored and blessed to be able to say that I broke those barriers. I opened those doors for guys like me, my weight, my stature, go in there and do that high flying maneuver and make this sport much more entertaining.
Yeah.
You know?
No, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Now, you guys are heading out to Saudi Arabia. Now, you got to do a couple of things before you get to Saudi Arabia. You were telling me about your travel schedule.
Yeah, crazy.
I don't know how. You guys never sleep. I don't get it. But you still perform, which is amazing. But you're heading to Saudi Arabia. You've been there before.
Yes, I have.
Right? Last year.
Last year.
Have you ever fought there?
First time.
So what's it going to be like? I mean, Saudi Arabia feels mysterious in a sense. You know what I mean? But what's the crowd like? What's the energy like? How do they embrace it over there?
To me, it does. It seems very, I've never been there before, so this will be my first time going over there and competing. But I've competed in front of different crowds, in my lifetime, and I believe that every crowd has their own way of watching an event, right? As far as cheering goes, I've seen like the Japanese wrestling, the Japanese fighting, where the crowd is very silent. They're just watching, and then when they see something cool, they clap. But it's like very quiet throughout the arena. So
that's got to be unnerving. It's like, dude, am I not doing a good job here? Are you not entertained? Right? It's like, seriously.
So, man, I'm just going in there, again with a task at hand, and I'm sure the people will love it, and just be there and kind of be in that moment and embrace what's going on.
Yeah. Now, do you determine can you determine, not do you, but can you determine if you're going to be the good guy or the bad guy, the baby face or the heel, as it pertains to the crowd? Or does it vary wherever you are? Because you know what I mean? Like, some people love the bad guy.
I think in Cain's situation, they know who the bad guy is.
Yeah.
After the damage Brock has done. But anybody that knows Cain's history from MMA, they know how he operates, and they know it's very effective. So they're just waiting to see that inside a WWE ring so they can applaud.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, the Saudi Arabian fans are incredible. They're hardcore. They're your type of fan that WWE when it was WWF.
Yeah.
That's how far they go back. So they know all the OGs that have been in the ring, and they can't wait to see the OGs and the new guys that are up and coming that are getting ready to make a name for themselves.
Yeah, because there's also Team Flair and Team Hogan, so they'll be there not as wrestlers, but as coaches.
Coaches, yeah.
And
Tyson Fury
will be there. He'll be there with Roman Reigns. I mean, this is an all-star, cast out there. This is next Thursday. It'll be 1 p.m. Eastern.
Yes.
Here. So I don't know, what time is that over there? Like 8 o'clock at night or 9 o'clock at night, something like that.
Yeah, I think we'll probably be kicking off like at 7 p.m. at night.
Yeah.
But it's cool because it'll be on October 31st, Halloween Day at 1 p.m. So get to sit down, watch the pay-per-view, Crown Jewel.
Yeah.
And go out and get some candy.
Yeah. Watch Cain beat up Brock Lesnar.
Whoop some Brock.
Some Brock. Put on a Rey Mysterio mask.
Yes.
And to go trick or treating.
With that title in hand.
That sounds like a plan.
With the title.
Yeah. Just one more. We have about a minute here before we have to bounce. We get up to the top of our hour. Brock is interesting. He's jumped back and forth. To both. What's he better at?
I mean, he's been doing wrestling for a while, and he does it very well. He does. This is definitely his world. The MMA side, I think with a little bit longer being in the MMA side, maybe with the right coaches, he could have, I think done. I just think his only problem in the MMA side was he wasn't as comfortable with the striking.
Yeah, it's a different skill set.
That's the only thing, and that's people. Sometimes people have to get used to it, or sometimes people just either have it or they don't.
Yeah.
Like you either like to get hit, or it doesn't bother you, or it does.
Last question, 10 seconds. How do you beat him on Thursday?
I beat him by the same way that I beat him the first time: a flurry of punches, flurry of kicks, using some collision style wrestling as well. But it's that pressure.
Yeah.
And another scar on the other side of the face.
Nice. I like it.